He said, you see the distress that we're in. He said, Jerusalem lieth in waste. What happened? The enemy came in and tore up everything. Do you understand, people of God? The enemy wants to come in your life and tear up everything. Not only does he want to tear up your family, your marriage, your children, but he also wants to tear up your house. He wants to tear up your worship. He wants to tear up your praise. He wants to tear up your Christian walk. My God, you got folk that was raised up in church, but one bad decision, and now they walked out, and they can't hardly get back to the household of God. And this is the place of trouble that the enemy wants to put some of us in. He said, you see the distress that we're in, how Jerusalem lieth waste. He said, the gates thereof are burned with fire. Then he had to rally the people back together. And guess what I'm doing to you this morning? I'm trying to rally you back together and tell you that there's a miracle on the other side of your trouble. Look at somebody real quick. Say, neighbor, there's a miracle on the other side of your trouble. But you're going to have to go through this thing. You're going to have to go through the trouble. So God said, he went on to tell Nehemiah, he said, go on and continue to encourage the people. Because sometimes you can look at your life and say, I don't see how I'm going to get back. I don't see how I'm going to go back to school. I don't see how I can get my money back right. I got so much debt and my credit card is maxed out. I done hooked up with some crazy person and I done spent all my money and I done maxed up my credit cards thinking I'm in love with somebody. Uh-oh, y'all done missed that part. You can thinking you in love with somebody and all of a sudden all your money's towed up and they done left. You done jacked up your credit fooling with somebody, some of these whorish little women that some of the brothers that hooked up with, and now you don't have nothing. They didn't put a smile on your face but walked out with your money. And your credit is jacked up. So you look like, how am I going to get back to where I need to be? How am I going to get my life back? Used to be a praise and worship person in the household of God. And now one bad mistake, one night, oh God, with somebody that I shouldn't have been with. And now my praise and worship has gone down to nothing. My God, one thing that I did and I messed up and now I'm trying to find my way back to the house of God. He said, you see the distress that we are in. He said, my home, Jerusalem, lieth in waste. When you come to the understanding that your house is in trouble, then God can talk to you. Because if you can't admit that something has gone wrong in your life, how is God going to bring deliverance if you can't admit, I made a mistake? He said, let us build up the wall of Jerusalem. In other words, he said, look, don't be dismayed. In other words, he said, I come to encourage you. Shake somebody by the hand and say, be encouraged, be encouraged, be encouraged. Go on and tell them, say, God's not through working on you. He began to tell them about the hand of God that was upon his life. In other words, he began to encourage them about all the things that God had done in their past. And that's how you're going to get out and through this trouble, when you begin to go back and start thinking how God has already delivered you out of some things. You know God, my God, you know God opens up some doors for you. You know God made ways for you. Some of y'all right now, you still ain't paid taxes, but you're still getting checks in the mail. Y'all ain't helping me. You know God is still working on your behalf. You still got food in your refrigerator. My God, tell somebody, say, God is a good God. And that's what Nehemiah was trying to encourage the people. He was trying to tell them, look at here, I know that we are in trouble, and I know our life is jacked up. I know we made some mistakes and we had to pay the consequences for the mistake. But he said, be encouraged. And he began to tell them about the God, my God, of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He began to remind them that God is a faithful God. And that's when I want to encourage some of you this morning, that God is a faithful God. And if you come back and humble yourself and lift up your hands and tell God, God will come and see about you. I come to tell somebody, when you don't know what to do, stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. I don't know who I'm preaching to, but I want to tell somebody, stand still. The devil's trying to make you to make another bad move, but God said, tell my people to stand still. There's a miracle getting ready to break, but you better stand still and see what God's getting ready to do. You ought to tell somebody, I might be in some trouble, but I'm in just enough trouble to get me a miracle. So the Bible said, let us not be weary in well-doing. In other words, you come too far to give up now. Shake somebody by the hand and say, neighbor, I come too far to give up now. I'm not going backwards. I'm not going to let nobody tell me to go backwards, but I'm going to stand right here in the middle of my trouble, because I know that God is coming to get me. So be not weary in well-doing, for in due season we shall reap if you faint not. I feel good now, but I come to tell somebody I'm in just enough trouble to get me a miracle. I can't wait until Monday morning. I got a miracle coming to me early Monday morning. A matter of fact, late tonight, about 12 o'clock, the heavens are open and your blessing is coming down. Give somebody a high five and say, neighbor, I'm in just enough trouble to get me a miracle. I'm still blessed. In the middle of my trouble, I'm still blessed. I'm blessed in the city. I'm blessed in the field. I'm blessed rising up. I'm blessed when they sit down. Even because they said no, I'm still blessed. God is working on your behalf. Tell somebody, I'm in trouble, but I got a miracle with my name on it. Yes, eyes haven't seen, ears haven't heard, neither has it entered into the heart of those that love God. I come to tell the devil I'm in love with God, and I'm standing right here. If I got to hold on all by myself, I'ma hold on until my miracle comes. Somebody tell your neighbor I'm in trouble.